הזיה. אוקיי, כשאני מתיישב, תבוא לפה ותסתכל עוד פעם כאן, לראות שאני בסדר.
בסדר,
שתיזהר לא לבעוט ב... אוקיי. אל תיגע בכלום.
תפעיל את זה?
זה יש לך. מה אתה רוצה לעשות?
תלתיק.
זה בסדר, שמתי את זה על הרקורד. Good morning. This is Gabriel Raam. Today is 27th of September 2009, and I'm doing interpretation number 20 to the Book of Tao. With me Asaf, and I will do an interpretation and then some sort of dialogue, perhaps. I'll read first of all the whole verse. Give up learning and put an end to your troubles. Is there a difference between yes and no? Is there a difference between good and evil? Must I fear what others fear? What nonsense. Other people are contented, enjoying the sacrificial feast of the ox. In spring, some go to the park and climb the terrace. But I alone am drifting, not knowing where I am, like a newborn babe before it learns to smile. I am alone, without a place to go. Others have more than they need, but I alone have nothing. I am a fool. Oh yes, I am confused. Others are clear and bright, but I alone am dim and weak. Others are sharp and clever, but I alone am dull and stupid. Oh, I drift like the waves of the sea, without direction, like the restless wind. Everyone else is busy, but I alone am aimless and depressed. I am different. I am nourished by the Great Mother. So, I turn to you. Is there anything you wish to say, any comment, anything you want to start us off with?
Well, it sounds like he's he shows us how far away he is from society.
He shows how far away he is from society.
Yes. He says, don't learn anything or give up everything you might learn, and he shows us how far he is from enjoying things, from understanding life like society understands life. He turns everything upside down.
Yeah. That's it?
Yes.
Well, I think it's a very surprising text. It's something which is very different from everything else. On the whole, I see here two sections. One section is the first sentence and and last sentence, and then everything else.
Yes.
So I'll try to read the two sentences together, and then to read selected sentences from the middle. Okay, the first two sentences, which I think are together. Give up learning and put an end to your troubles. I am nourished by the Great Mother. So I think that this is the illumined teacher, the awakened person is talking. And then he is saying all kind of things that doesn't belong to a teacher at all, and definitely not to a illumined person.
Yes.
Is there a difference between yes and no? I mean, imagine, I tell you, someone comes to you and say, tell me, is there a difference between yes and no? So I would like you to describe the age of the person and his level of intelligence.
Yes. 3 years old. Maybe,
3 years old.
Maybe 2.5.
And if it's a person which is above 30,
Then there's a problem.
then I think you would send him to a very deep examination of his clarity of mind. I mean, I think one of the ways to find out if a person is clear in his mind is the ability to differentiate between good and evil. I think this is one of the ways in the law. Can he know what is good and what is bad? I mean, if a person takes a petrol tank and he drinks out of it when he's thirsty, then obviously he doesn't know the difference between good and bad.
Yes.
Or if he puts water and put it in the petrol tank. Or if he puts salt in a cup of tea.
How is it good or bad?
Well, salt is not good for a cup of tea.
It's not good for a cup of tea.
No, it's not good for a cup
but
of tea. It's
some-
bad for a cup of tea.
Okay.
Salt is good for steak. Sugar is not good for steak. Yeah?
Yes.
Toothpaste is good for the teeth. It's not good for the eyes.
You're taking it to a different...
What is no? Good and bad are relative terms.
Yes.
Good to what? What is good for one thing is bad to another. That's why I'm using relative good and bad.
Mm-hmm.
There isn't a principle good and bad.
Mm-hmm.
This is something which is good. I mean, even if you say God, if you are a devil worshipper, then God is not very good. And besides, there is the Gnostics, which they have a very interesting claim. They say that there are several gods. There are good gods and there are bad gods. And our God, the Miorgos is his name, is the bad god. And the best thing you can do is commit suicide and get out of this world. So you see, even the terms bad or good are very relative.
Mm-hmm. And there are something that you need to learn. That's what he's saying. Or give up what you've learned about good and bad.
Well, at the moment I'm not connecting the first sentence to everything else.
Okay.
I see give up learning and put an end to your trouble as provocative, revolutionary statement,
Yes.
which is going to put everything upside down. And there is, I think there are two voices here, 3 voices. But the voice which says give up learning and put an end to your trouble is not the same voice which says is there a difference between yes and no.
Why is he asking and not just saying
It's a
there's
good
no
point.
difference?
That's a good point. Now, he's asking because he's confused.
Yeah.
Now, of course, you can see it as a trick. But if I take it what it is, he's writing something, you are the reader, say, excuse me, is there a difference between yes and no? So basically he's declaring himself to be confused.
Yes. It doesn't say there's no difference between yes and no.
That's right. He's not saying there is no difference. He's saying, is there a difference? Basically, he's saying, I don't know what is north and what is south. I don't know whether I should advance or I should stay. I don't know what is the difference between them. I am disorientated.
Yes.
I am confused.
I'm lost.
I'm lost. And then it comes to another sentence saying, okay, I'm lost. It's a terrible state. What should I do? And then it says, well, everyone tells me that if I do what everyone else does, then I will have an end to my troubles.
And the
then
basis is fear.
And then he's saying, okay, so must I fear what others fear? Is that what I should do? Then I will know what is good and what is bad? Nonsense! I don't want to be like everyone else, he's saying. Then he's saying, but the fact that I don't want to be like everyone else doesn't help me at all. Yes, I see that other people are contented. I don't doubt it. I don't see that they are miserable and I look at them from a confused standpoint, despite the fact that I don't want to fear what others fear. And it's not because I see that they are contented, I don't want to fear what they fear, or because I don't want to fear what they fear, I see that they are contented. They're two separate things. I don't want to do what everyone else, but I can't deny the fact that everyone except me knows exactly what he should do, and they are happy. I look around and I see people are happy. So when we talk about the sacrificial feast of the ox, then we can exchange it to the mangal,
yes,
and to the barbecue of the Americans,
yes,
and going and to the fields and
social gatherings, enjoying food.
That's right. Sitting together, eating, family, friends, laughing, joking. And he's actually saying what people do from 2,500 years to today.
Yes.
In spring, some go to the park and climb terrace, and we can see people go to picnics and have a good time. And he's saying, but I alone am drifting. It's an interesting word, drifting. What drifts? If you put a leaf on the water, it drifts wherever the water goes. So I don't know anything. Confused, not knowing where I am. So he's putting it that people are happy and he is confused, doesn't know where he is. Now you can say, like a baby before it learns to walk. He's saying, no, like a baby before it learns to smile. This is a very interesting analogy.
Yes.
Because we know that babies learn to smile, I think, 3 hours after they are born. Or
no, they have the reflex, but
leave the reflex at the moment.
The social smile, it's 4 weeks old, a month. When they are a month old.
I don't see a difference between reflex smile and social smile. Smile is a smile.
Okay.
Yeah. Other people can do differentiation because it might serve them. For me, the baby smiles when it is born.
Okay.
You can call it reflex smile, right? How long does it take to have a reflex smile?
I think.
So it's very natural for
yes.
babies
yes.
to smile.
Yeah.
So he's saying, like a newborn baby before it learns to smile. So I don't know even if that I'm alive. And then it goes worse. After he's saying that he's drifting, not knowing where he is, then he's saying, I experience loneliness, I'm alone. I have no place to go. See, this is Lao Tse, which is supposed to be a person that everyone is wanting to learn from how to live. And he's saying, no one wants to be with me, and no one wants to accept me. I have no place I can go.
I don't know where I am, and I don't know where to go. I'm alone.
I'm alone.
I don't know anything.
So he's drifting, he's alone, and no one wants him. And then he looks again at other people and saying, others have more that they need. They have everything. And I alone have nothing. Now it's very interesting, he's saying, and I have nothing. I alone have nothing. So everyone has more than they need. Only him, just him, have nothing. It's very interesting.
What do they need that they have more than they need?
Oh, that's an easy answer. Someone says that in terms of food,
Yes.
what people need physically is enough what goes into the palm of one hand.
Yes.
So if you take the eating habits of human beings as an analogy to what they have and what they need, then the difference between how many grams do you think there is in one hand?
I know.
30 grams, 40 grams,
Yes.
something like that.
Yes. You are.
How many kilos people eat a day? So this is the difference between what they need and what they have.
Maybe, okay, but maybe that also talks about social, because they have more than they need. I alone, like, they are together. They get things they need from from each other, and I'm alone. I have nothing. It's like he's drowning in his own loneliness.
Well, it's interesting. So let me see if I understand what they're saying. You're saying that there is a connection between the fact that others have more than they need and I'm
alone.
No, he's not saying
No?
I'm alone. He's saying I alone have nothing.
Okay.
Only me
Only me
have nothing. Everyone has something.
So it sounds like he's pitying himself.
Definitely.
I'm so
Definitely pitying himself. He thinks that he's got a very bad deal.
It sounds like he's emotionally involved.
He is moaning and he's complaining and he's grumpy.
Feelings.
And he doesn't stop there.
Yes.
He's saying others are clear and bright. Now, this is supposed to be one of the greatest spiritual teachers of all time. And he's saying all those people that I see. So, if a person sees this, so who are the others? Others, if you just now close this video that you are watching, wherever you're watching it, and get out of your house and go to the street and see the people who are walking there, these are the others. And he's saying they are clear and bright. Now, look at people. They don't look confused.
Yes.
They don't look depressed. I mean, if you go where you work and you see some people drinking coffee and talking, they look clear and bright.
They know what they're talking about.
No, I'm not listening to their conversation. I'm just looking through the eyes of Lao Tse,
Yes,
being depressed as he's going to being depressed is the last nail in the coffin
Yes.
of his state. He's driving towards it. I mean, how can he be not depressed?
Yes.
And he's saying, I look at other people and they look clear and bright. If you see people, for example, 5 people in a coffee shop working together, talking, they look
Yes.
very happy.
Yes.
If you look at people most of the time when they are not alone, and most of the time people are not alone, it's interesting, you know, to do a survey, out of people that go to a coffee shop, out of people who go to restaurants, in a certain evening, let's say from 6 to 11 in the evening, out of people that go to theaters, to movie houses, how many people go alone? What is the percentage of people that go alone? Can you have a guess?
Less than 0.5%, I guess.
I think 0.5% to 1%. People, when they go out, they are not alone.
Yes.
No one is alone, only when you go from point A to point B. And even then, you pretend that you don't exist.
Yes,
You sort of go with this blank look.
put on the radio or don't.
So people, when they are together, and they are together most of the time, they seem clear and bright.
Yes.
But I alone, again, first of all, he was alone, he only has nothing, and then he alone am dim and weak. Now, dim is the opposite of bright.
Yes.
So you can have a light bulb which is clear and full and bright, and you can have dim light, which is, and he looks at himself and he says, I'm not very bright.
I'm not like there, not there.
No. Dim, it means that you are stupid.
Yes.
You say to someone, you're dim, I mean, you don't understand anything.
Yes.
And he's saying, yeah, they seem strong and bright, and I'm dim and weak. And this is how he is going about. I mean, we need to understand that he is not sarcastic here. He is not cynical. I mean, the only way we can really seriously try to understand what he's saying is treat it as
As it is.
true piece of writing. This is Lao Tse.
Yes.
This is a person which other people seem to be one of the greatest spiritual teachers alive, and he is saying, I am dim, I am weak, I am a fool, I am confused, I have nothing.
Sounds like it's not worth going through the journey if you find yourself in a place like that.
Absolutely.
A depressing place.
Absolutely.
I want to stay where you are. You know?
Exactly. You are clear, you are bright.
You know where to go.
You've got everything. Yes. This is very different than all these merchants of the New Age saying, come, come.
Yes.
Come to my place and you will not be depressed. And
on the contrary, it will take you out of depression. You will have.
And he's saying, if you come to where I am, this is what I promise you.
Yeah.
This is what I have.
This is what will come out of you. This is what you'll find, where you find yourself at.
If you want to be like me, this is where I am.
Yes. It's a great difficulty and a great mystery.
Okay, so others are sharp and clever, so he's not enough with the fact that they are clear and bright. They're sharp and clever. Now, we need one thing to understand here. He's not saying really what the people are, because we all know that the people which you see in a coffee shop and in the street when you go out are not sharp and clever. They are sharp and clever in the context of their life.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you take a woman in the street which is going to the fruit shop,
Yes.
she is sharp and clever.
Yes.
And
She knows what she wants. She has all the information about it, and she's going to get it.
so one thing which is starts to be clear from this piece of writing is that we are talking about we only can understand it as two different set of contexts.
Yes.
He is a person in one context,
Yes.
finding himself in a different context.
Yeah.
And in the context that he finds himself, that's how he feels.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how other people.
Yes. So there's his context, and there's society, or a
I'm
group.
saying the only way to understand it is that we have two different contexts. But he is at the moment talking about the other people context.
Yes. And he's always comparing.
Not comparing yet.
Okay.
The moment there's no comparison, the only thing that could be a comparison is the first sentence. No doubt the person is saying, give up learning and put an end to your troubles. This is a person being in one context, talking about people who are in different contexts. And then he switches contexts. And he's saying, okay, I give up my context. Let me tell you how I feel when I am in the context of everyone else.
Yes.
So he's dancing between two contexts. That's why I said the
Yes.
first sentence and the last sentence are in one unit, and then everything else is in a different unit.
Yes.
So the only way we can understand that he's saying all these wonderful things about everyone and all these bad things about himself,
It's because he's thrown into the context.
because he is in a context which is foreign to his homeland. And his homeland is the spiritual context, the soul context, and the consciousness context.
Yes. The Great Mother.
Wait,
Yes.
we didn't come to the Great Mother yet. But I'm already filtering in that the only way we can understand it is by him talking finding himself in a foreign land.
Yes.
And in a moment I'm going to read something that Raymond Carver said, and I put it on the back cover of my book Outsiders and Rebels. In the meanwhile, you can fish out this book. It's the second book from the bottom, that's right. Okay, so he's saying, I alone am dull and stupid. Oh, this is interesting, this oh is moaning.
Yes.
I drift like the waves of the sea, without direction, like restless winds. So basically he's saying, what is the purpose of my life? I don't have any direction. My life is a waste. What I did so far with my life is going nowhere. People are going somewhere. I see people that have been in the same class with me, only been 7 and 8, and they are very determined, they are advancing, they are clever, they are bright, they are busy, they are strong. And what am I doing with my life? Nothing. Everyone else is busy. It's interesting that he is not saying most of the people. He's saying everyone. It's me and everyone. It's the absolute isolation.
Yes.
Everyone else is busy. And here comes the last nail in the coffin. I alone am aimless. We already know this aimless. This is the third time he's repeating
Yes.
that he is drifting and he's aimless. But then comes the nail, and depressed.
Yes. This is a new...
Yeah, this is, I see it as a summation.
Yes.
I mean, if this is the situation, of course, I am depressed.
Yes. So it means like I give up. I'm done. There's nothing in me. There's nothing left. I'm out.
And immediately after the most serious word, depression, comes in, he is giving us a kind of a way to get out of it.
Yes.
And to connect to original context. But before that, I want to say something about depression.
Yes.
See, many people are depressed. Now, not everyone which is depressed because he is coming from a superior context and he is judging himself in an inferior context.
Yes.
There are people who are depressed from different reasons. But there are many people who are depressed from the wrong reasons, because they judge themselves in the wrong context.
Mm-hmm. Many people are different.
And that is exactly
Yes.
the word I meant, which is actually releasing you from one context and connecting you to original context. So what he's doing, he's putting a rebellion sentence in the beginning, and he's leaving it there, so it's waiting.
Yeah.
See, my book is called Outsiders and Rebels. The rebellion is the freeing of yourself from the prison of being an outsider,
Yes.
which is being different because you're special, and you're being locked in the mediocrity of everyone else.
Yes. And
So he's putting a rebellion statement in the beginning, give up learning and put an end to the trouble, and he's saying basically I shit on everything because learning is the highest thing.
yeah, learning is the
So he's basically coming from much above, looking at all these people who is investing in learning, then he's saying, alright, I put it to one side, now let me tell you about me as an outsider, and then he's joining it. So basically, he's saying, okay, let me tell you something. I told you all this, that I'm nothing, but you know something? I'm different. I'm different. I'm not like them. And there is also this sentence, it's all nonsense. This is also another sentence which actually sneaked from different contexts to be put in.
Must have feel.
And then comes the biggest sentence of them all. I am nourished by the great mother. Which basically saying, if I put all these terrible things that I wrote about being an outsider on one scale, and on the other scale, the fact that I'm nourished by the mother, I choose to be nourished by the mother. Can you give me my book? I want to read this sentence of Raymond Carver, which is to do with actually what he is talking about, because this is a text about an outsider which chose consciously to be a rebel, and he knows exactly where he belongs. But it's important to remember that the fact that you know where you belong doesn't decrease your feelings of being depressed and being alone and having nowhere to go, because the point is that there is no context for the people like Lao Tse.
Yes.
There is a context for everyone else. Everyone has got a home, other people to share with. This is the destiny of people like him.
Yes.
They are contextless.
Yeah. That's what he's actually saying. If you get very high spiritually, there's no context for you. It's not gonna get any easier.
It's like in Seinfeld, no soup for you.
Yes.
You know that?
Yes,
No
yes.
context for you. If your land is the land of the soul and the land of consciousness, no context for you.
Yes. It's opposite from anything spiritual that is said, usually said. Like
Saying you're coming home.
you're coming home, you'll find peace, serenity. You're gonna be depressed, alone, drifting.
Because the social context is the ruling context.
Yes.
There is no other context. It's actually swallowing everything else.
It's the ruling context and there's no other context. It's two terrible things. It's not like you can...
Absolutely. Which means that if you want to be totally spiritual and totally conscious, and you want to make it a destiny, be prepared. You're going to be in a constant exile. Now here is the text of Raymond Carver, which was in English and then translated to Hebrew, and then I will translate it into English. And it's part of a poem. It happens that a person is born to a foreign land. And although he has a father and a mother, brothers and sisters, a language and a culture, is actually from a different place. And he doesn't know that. He's paining all his life until when he understands and starts the journey back to his homeland that he never was in. And no one can promise him that it actually exists. See, that's why I put in the fifth way so much existentialism. Because he's existentialist. He's actually talking about the horror of being alive and being a conscious being alive. Because if you give up your consciousness and you take the present context as the only context,
yes,
then it's okay. But if you see that it's not the proper context, that it's a simulacra, it's a living in an image of an image, and the image of an image became the essence,
yeah,
and you celebrate the image as the essence. If you see that, then you have a difficult life.
yes, there's no happiness, no.
There is no happiness, but there is something else. He is nourished by the Great Mother, and this is a sentence that needs to be open.
Yes.
Because what does it mean to be nourished by the Great Mother? He's not nourished by the Father, he's nourished by the Mother, he's not nourished by the Mother, he's not nourished by the Great Mother.
Mm-hmm.
And basically he's saying, this is my homeland,
Mm-hmm.
and I have what none of you have. I'm
Yes.
connected.
I'm willing to pay the price.
He's not
All
saying
those
that,
terms.
but in what he's not saying, this is what is coming up.
Yes, yeah.
And the Great Mother is the planet. It's the feminine entity upon which we all live.
Mm-hmm.
And we are disconnected from it because we build an artificial environment.
Yes.
And
It's interesting, it's not only supported by the mother, it's like usually a mother supports the child, it's nourished, giving, it gives me life, like nourishing.
it upholds me, it
Yes.
gives me power, it gives me strength, it nourishes me. So he's actually getting energies, we can say, because the
Yeah.
Great Mother can't give you, well, she gives food, but he's not talking about this kind of food. When he talks about nourishment, he's talking about energy.
Yes.
So we are talking about a person that the energies of popularity is not what nourishes him. And the energies of success is not what nourishes him. Because people are nourished
Mm-hmm.
by energies of success, of popularity. Not so long ago we had a certain entertainer that committed suicide because people didn't love him, he wasn't successful anymore. And he is nourished by energies that he is getting direct from the Great Mother.
Yes.
And it's only possible to be nourished by the Great Mother. Let me ask you, how do you get nourished by the Great Mother?
How do you get nourished by the Great Mother? I have no idea.
Very simple. Think about your mother.
Yeah.
Let's say that being nourished by the mother is getting out of her endless love.
Mm-hmm. You're open, you're connected to her.
No, I was going to say something before that.
Yes.
Do you need to do anything
No.
to be nourished by her?
No, she doesn't.
All you could do is stop her nourishing you.
Yeah. It's true.
by being closed to her, being antagonistic towards her, being ungrateful to her.
Yes.
But she could not but nourish. I mean, look at the planet. Look what she is growing, the fruits and the grass and the waters, and
Yeah.
she is a great nourisher. But she can nourish on various levels. And we only get nourished by the physical level.
Yes.
We are blocked because of our ego and because we build our Tower of Babylon.
Yeah.
And we think that we can nourish ourselves. Actually, we are closed on in the higher departments of ourselves. We don't get nourished. So, what you need to do to be nourished by your mother, your real mother,
Just to be open, to be in connection with
Yes.
her. That's the.
How do you become open?
You put away things that close you.
That's right. You remove obstacles.
Yes.
If you think she did something to you when you are 6 and you're angry about it, you should melt it.
Yeah.
So, whatever is closing us to nature, not on the level where everyone else is treating nature, which
Yes.
is going to nature and saying, beautiful green grass and beautiful lakes and rivers, but actually connecting to the higher levels, to the consciousness of the planet, and being open to her frequency. This could be done when you melt the egocentric view in you, and when you release the dominance of your emotions.
Yes.
This is two things that actually blocks us to flow of anything. So when your emotions block the center space in you, because they are so dominant,
Yes.
and they want to feel, they want to get excited, because you're so busy in you, these are two blocks. Now, the moment you decrease your emotions to 30% dominance, and you are less busy with you and you're more busy with the world, there is an opening in you. And the mother all the time wants to reach towards you, and then she can get in. We need to make space.
Yes.
So Lao Tse obviously has worked on his ego and has worked on his emotions.
Yes. He shows us how far he went with it. He went all the way.
You think that the fact that he is depressed shows that he went all the way?
The word depressed is different.
No, leave
to me,
depressed.
but
All the things he's saying.
Yes, he's saying.
I don't think so.
No.
I don't think that all the suffering that he suffers in the foreign context
Yes.
is because he went all the way,
Okay.
cleaning himself. And that's the way I see it. You either born special or not. Special is people that could not find themselves in the foreign context.
Yes.
Because there is a certain charge in their soul which doesn't allow them to integrate.
Yes.
It's like the Jews. They couldn't be like everyone else. There's something in them that made them different. So he is different to begin with. There's two kinds of difference.
Yes.
There's the difference because of the specialness of your soul, and then there is the difference because you did something with yourself, which means you evacuated your ego.
Yeah.
Two kind of differences. So the first difference you don't have to work for, and that's what causes him misery. Then the question is, what do you do? The question is, what do you do
Yes.
with the first difference?
With the fact that you are inherently different.
You could be a rebel and go against society and be an anarchist.
Yes.
You can mourn your life and go to drugs, or become an artist, or go to lunatic asylum.
Yes.
Or you can start to work on yourself. Do inner work. And inner work is go to the inner garden and pluck out the weeds. Move out the personal identification of you with you about life. Become unpersonal. Become uninvolved with your living. Let life go through you without you being involved in what is moving through you. Move aside and let life go through you. Don't live for you.
Yes.
You should not stay in your hotel. You should allow things to move through your hotel. The moment you change your view and you decrease the dominance of your ego and the dominance of your emotions in you, then whatever wants to move through you can move through you, and then you become nourished by the mother. So what he's saying here about being an outsider, that's an uncultivated garden. That's a special human being that didn't do anything with his inner life. Being nourished by the mother, that's the journey he took from being special but not doing anything inner with your specialness. Sorry, that's the journey he took
to get there.
To do something with his specialness.
So there are two voices here. The voice
that's what I said in the beginning.
That's why I meant to. The first and the last sentences, like you did at the beginning, and then the rest showing a person didn't do inner work.
So the first sentence is directed towards the foreign context, towards society. The second sentence is directed towards the mother, toward what is higher than him.
Yes.
So he is content when he looks up, and he is rebellious when he looks against society.
Yes.
Saying, what good is all your learning? If you don't want trouble, don't learn.
Yeah, maybe he's talking to an outsider who is depressed and aimless and lost in the regular context, in the society's context, and he says, give up learning, get out of society, and that will help you with all your problems of being drifting and lost.
He might be talking to someone else, or he might be talking to himself.
Yes.
Yeah. So I think the important sentence is, the important thing is what is not written here, and that is the journey from being a depressed outsider towards being nourished by the mother.
Yeah.
And I think that this interpretation could not be done by someone who is not dealing with inner work.
Yes.
Like I've been dealing with for the last many years. And I know that the gap between being a suffering, depressed outsider to be nourished by the mother is to be a gardener of your inner life, plucking the weeds, plucking what blocks the flow of life to go through you, which is, you don't need to live for you. And we had this conversation about happiness, which you find very difficult. But you see, when you're nourished by the mother, you experience the happiness 1,000,000 times more than the egocentric happiness of you getting what you want.
Yes.
But then it's not an egocentric happiness. It's not to do with you. It's to do with being alive, and something higher is moving through you and is charging you.
Yes.
So, see, it's an interesting question to ask people. You see, if you stay with your egocentric happiness, you might get happiness here and there. But if you're willing to give up the egocentric happiness and move towards happiness which is nothing to do with you, where you don't get anything out of it, but you experience immense orgasm, would you choose it? It's a difficult choice.
It's a difficult choice. What do you mean you don't get anything out of it?
It's nothing to do with you. I mean, you are not happy because you are you. It's not directed towards you. Anyone... See, there was the dog here a few minutes ago.
Yeah.
And it's interesting. When we are with the dog, we're very egocentric, because each time she is licking us and jumping, you think, oh, she loves me because it's me.
Yes.
And then I see you coming in and she doesn't know you, hardly knows you.
Yeah.
And she's licking you the same. So it's a frustration, because everyone wants to feel that we are happy because we deserve it more than other people. Because we are special.
Yes.
See, the thing is, if you're really, really special, you have to be less personal than everyone else. If you're not special, you can allow yourself to be personal, but then you will not be nourished by the mother.
Yes.
Do you understand?
I think so.
So it's a very difficult issue.
Yeah.
I mean, to choose a happiness which is non-personal.
Yes. First of all, to realize.
Because people say, I want to be happy, but no one puts the condition,
Yes.
I want to be happy when it's personally to do with me, and it's saying that I'm good, I'm great, I deserve more.
Yes.
Me, 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 me.
It's very existential to realize that there's nothing special about you. You are lost in a way, and only from that place to go and find out your true way in life.
Find out your true way of life. You see, that then again, you're in the center.
Yes.
You see, the great challenge to be nourished by the mother is to give up any claim for you just because of you, and saying, I'm nothing, I'm even less than a speck of dust, but I can join the greatness of creation, I can experience the power of creation, but for that I have to give up my ego. See, people talk about giving up the ego like that.
Yeah. They're always staying.
That's the
in
condition,
center.
that's the primal condition. Okay, so I think we can finish it?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, so what I'll do now, I will read it once more with the added understanding about the journey being made here. And I will read it also with the right voices. Give up learning and put an end to your troubles. Is there a difference between yes and no? Is there a difference between good and evil? Must I fear what others fear? What nonsense. Other people are contented, enjoying the sacrificial feast of the ox. In spring some go to the park and climb the terrace. But I alone am drifting, not knowing where I am, like a newborn baby before it learns to smile. I am alone, without a place to go. Others have more than they need, but I alone have nothing. I am a fool. Oh yes, I am confused. Others are clear and bright, but I alone am dim and weak. Others are sharp and clever, but I alone am dull and stupid. Oh, I drift like the waves of the sea, without directions, like a restless wind. Everyone else is busy, but I alone am aimless and depressed. I am different. I am nourished by the Great Mother.
פרשנות יפהפייה. עמוקה מאוד. פרשנות עמוקה מאוד.
שנייה, תכף אנחנו נדבר.